Yo, what's going on, guys? Shout out James L. Edwards III of The Athletic. He's the beat writer for the Detroit Pistons for The Athletic, and this is the latest NBA trade news for the Detroit Pistons. So, the Pistons were a team that I personally had going into this season to be a dark horse play-in team. Now, halfway through the NBA season, they're in last place in the Eastern Conference. They do have a favorable schedule the rest of the way, and as favorable as it can be for an 11-win team. The team's rebuilding. Cade Cunningham's out, and now what we have to see is this time last year, the Detroit Pistons flirted with a 500 record to close out the season, and it wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons starts to rattle off wins. And obviously, people want a Vic for brick and all that stuff. But let's talk about this team, okay? First off, we're talking about stuff that this is a team that needs to improve defensively, but it's not abnormally bad. Like the Spurs, the Magic, and the Rockets are all teams that are right there with the Pistons defensively bad. But when you look at this team, you want to find the Pistons hope they can find their Donovan Mitchell, their Jared Allen to Cade Cunningham is the best way if you want to compare it to the Cavs. James Edwards says like Cade Cunningham is on his way to becoming a top 20 player in the league. So right now, and with the possibility of getting Scoot Henderson or Amon Thompson or Cam Whitmore, Nick Smith, whoever goes behind Vic, I think it's interesting to see that the Pistons could be big sellers at the trade deadline. I think the Pistons break the mold this season. They want to compete for a postseason spot next season, and it's hard to do if you only have a few good vets. So when we're looking at this situation, James Edwards says the asking price for Bojan Bogdanović is high, and from his understanding at this moment, they won't part with him for anything less than an unprotected first and a good young player, simply because they don't want to trade him. It would take an overpay for Detroit to part ways with Bojan Bogdanović. So don't expect Bojan Bogdanović to be moved. Now, Edwards says he doesn't believe Alec Burks is going anywhere. He also doesn't think Saddiq Bey is going anywhere, though he may be more likely to be traded than Alec Burks or Bojan Bogdanović. So out of the three guys we just mentioned, Bojan's not going anywhere. Alec Burks isn't going anywhere. And Saddiq Bey more than likely is not going anywhere, but they do allege that out of those three players, Saddiq is more likely. However, Nerlens Noel is the only player James L. Edwards sees getting traded, and that's not even a guarantee. Teams may just want to see if they buy out Nerlens Noel. And there'll be more information next week, but Detroit's approach is seeming like they're going to go that way with Cunningham back next season, another top 5 pick in the fold, and a ton of cap space to add more experienced, proven players. They have a good recipe for sustained success. So I don't think, and I agree with James L. Edwards, that Detroit ends up being active in the trade market, but if it does, it comes this offseason once the franchise is aware where it's picking in the 2023 NBA draft. But then you say, well, Killian Hayes has been playing really good. And Killian Hayes is ahead of Ivy right now in regards to his shooting, processing, and defense, all of which are things that would supplement Cunningham great. We haven't seen this version of Hayes next to Cunningham yet. Hayes has been shooting 36% from 3 on 4 attempts a night since November 2nd. Killian Hayes is the guy who couldn't crack 30% from 3 on less than 3 attempts per game in his first 2 seasons. Hayes' mid-range jumper, 2, has literally been automatic over this span. The shooting has been real, and it continues to improve. The playmaking defense that Hayes provides could work really nicely alongside Cunningham. Now, that's not to say that Ivy won't come back next summer and improve greatly across the board because he has higher upside. But if you ask me right now, should they trade Hayes because Ivy's the future? I don't know, because Hayes is a better fit next to Cunningham. Ivy's destroying opposing second units with his blistering speed might be the best course of action in the short term while he develops the rest of the game. I wouldn't trade any of them because the starting lineup could be Cade and Killian with your 6-man being Jaden Ivey, which is ridiculous. So let me hear what you guys' thoughts are, but that's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe.